Ooh-wee. Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I am Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Okay, so today's episode is a post-fight show for UFC 181, Hendricks versus Lawler, part 2. Yeah. Man, and what an explosive, exciting fight card this was from top to bottom. Especially the main card really stole the show. Man, This is one of the greatest UFC events all year, by hands down, by a landslide, you name it. I got my Death Clutch shirt on. Good job, Tony. We'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, so let's get started with a post-fight show of UFC 181, the main card. Okay, so the main event started off to kick off the episode. Yeah, the main event was amazing. It had some good, solid rounds for both fighters. Robbie Lawler had a good round 5. Johnny Hendricks had a good round 2, I want to say, and round 3. I got to look at the stats again and look at other stats, and I got to look at all these different stats to really put this fight together, because it was close. It was hard to say who won. I mean, I think Hendricks won the fight, but looking back at it, I can see how Lawler won the fight. And I wanted Lawler to win. It was driving me nuts that this fight was going to go to a decision. I wanted a finish, and I was like, well, if it goes to a decision, then wouldn't it be nice if Lawler gets the belt? But I like Hendricks too. Yeah, this was for the UFC 170-pound title, the welterweight title of the world. And it was two of the best welterweights going at it. I still got George St. Pierre as the guy to beat, assuming he ever goes back to the UFC. And I think Rory could bounce back from that loss to Lawler. And I really want to see Rory McDonald get a title shot in Canada. That would be amazing. I think he could beat Lawler in a rematch, but Lawler, though, he's still getting better. He's still getting better in his 30s. It's pretty amazing. And yeah, it was a split decision win for Robbie Lawler. There was some good takedowns from Hendricks. There was some good strikes from Lawler, and it all depends on how you look at it, I guess. The best way to explain it is you got to watch the fight. All you guys that haven't seen the fight, you got to watch it. And for the ones that have seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. A lot of people I talk to think Hendricks also won, but after looking at the stats and the replays, I can see how Lawler won. Yeah, and that wraps up that main event. Good job, Robbie Lawler. It's great to see a Filipino American win a UFC title, being part Filipino. It's awesome. Yeah, so then we get to the co-main event, which was Anthony Showtime Pettis versus Gilbert Melendez for the UFC Lightweight Championship of the World, the 155-pound title. And oh man, I don't know who I was rooting for here. You know, man. Okay, you got me. Okay, I believe this guy is Anthony Pettis, and there's me, and yeah, I think I was rooting for Showtime there, the UFC lightweight champion of the world, but I like Gilbert Melendez too. I was expecting him to win by knockout or decision in the fight. Knockout midway, second or third round into the fight, or decision unanimous due to strikes. Yeah, but he won by second round submission, and that was submission guillotine choke, and that was a mounted guillotine, which we don't see as often as you would think in the UFC. It was pretty impressive. He definitely deserved submission of the night there. I think either him or on the prelims Raquel Pennington deserves submission of the night. Yeah, so, oh man, Gilbert Melendez, he's tough. He's hard to finish. He's a brawler. He has good solid ground game, and for Anthony to get that mount and sink in that submission guillotine choke was pretty impressive. Yeah, oh man, good job, buddy, good job, Anthony. Okay, then so that was second round submission guillotine choke, co-main event. Then we go on to our next match on the main card, which is in the heavyweight division, and it was Travis Browne versus Brendan Schaub. I've met both they're both great guys, they're both talented fighters. I picked Travis Browne to win this. I figured he would win by knockout of some sort because he could get a submission, but Brendan Schaub has really good submission defense and he's really good at offensive submission. So I figured Travis Browne would be smart, keep the distance, find his range, and get a first, maybe second round knockout on Brendan Schaub. And he got first round knockout. It was a TKO punches, and yep, good job, Travis. Oh man, yeah, good job, buddy. Wow, 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 whoa, yep, get that title. But also my good buddy Fabricio Verdum is interim heavyweight champion. So if you guys have a rematch, get along. Okay, so Travis Browne. He did find his range, and he did get first round TKO punches victory on Brendan Schaub. Yeah, that was a great fight, and he got him on the ground, which was pretty amazing. He took his back and he just pounded him out, and there was only about 10 seconds left in the first round. Yeah, so it was him on top, have his back, and just kept throwing those punches to the head, and eventually Brendan wasn't defending himself and the ref called it off. It was a good win for Travis Browne. I think Travis Browne needs a fight. The winner is Stipe Miocic and Junior Dos Santos next, like a lot of people are saying. So that sums up that fight. Then also on the heavyweight division, on the main card, we had Todd Duffy versus Anthony Hamilton. Todd Duffy is a beast. He can knock people out in 10 seconds. He knocked Tim Hague out in 7 seconds. Back at UFC, that was 102, I believe it was, and that was a great fight. And he pretty much did the same thing. It just took longer than 7 seconds against Anthony Hamilton. Yeah, Todd Duffy knocked him out, KO punches, round 1, and that was 33 seconds. It was a good win after a long layoff for Todd Duffy. He found his range, landed some good strikes. Anthony Hamilton tried to find his range. It was tough for him, and he was just missing on some of those shots, and Todd Duffy was able to capitalize and get the KO. So good job, Todd Duffy. Yeah, and I know he has a health issue, so even more props getting through all that. So yeah, that wraps up that fight. It was only 33 seconds. We'll see more of Todd Duffy for sure. Then to kick off the main card, we got Tony El Cucuy Ferguson, who's sported Death Clutch in the past, who was on Team Brock Lesnar, and he fought Abel Trujillo, and this was a lightweight fight. Kick off the main card. Oh man, yeah, it was pretty much Abel Trujillo using his strength and his size, dominating Tony for the first round. And he dropped Tony in the first round, which scared me for a moment, but Tony was able to get back on his feet and survive that first round. Then the second round starts. His gas tank was depleted, and Tony was able to capitalize. And Tony got submission. Round 2 was rear naked choke, and he sunk it in pretty tight, pretty quick. It was a great finish. Yeah, that was 4 minutes and 19 seconds into the second round. I was so proud of Tony. Man, he won season 13 of The Ultimate Fighter, and he has gone on to be a beast in the lightweight division in the UFC. He won as a welterweight on the Ultimate Fighter and dropped down to lightweight, and since then he's gone 7-1 and looked amazing, truly remarkable. I mean, the way he finished off Mike Rio, the way he finished off Abel Trio in this fight, I think Tony Ferguson should fight a top 10, maybe a top 15 guy for sure in his next fight, and he's just 2 or 3 wins away from a title shot as far as I'm concerned. And I've been a fan of Tony for years now. I'm so proud of him. He's one of my favorite fighters. Good job, Tony. Keep up the good work. And that wraps up the post-fight show for UFC 181. And stay tuned in the coming week or so for my episodes, which will be about the Ultimate Fighter Season 20 finale. A champion will be crowned in the women's strawweight division, and then also I'll do an episode on the Junior Dos Santos Stipe Miocic UFC on Fox fight, which will be a war. It's going to be amazing. So until then, see ya later. Bye.